All right, guys. Welcome back to 424 Soccer. Let's get right into it. Manchester United 3, Arsenal 2. Absolute chaos in the final 10 minutes. I'm joined once again by my good friend Enoch. And just one question, Enoch. One simple question. At full time, what was your immediate reaction? Did United win the game or did Arsenal lose it? How are you feeling?
Man. Okay, so you wanna hear like what really happened that day? So I started the game at home and then I had to go to church. So I went to church and I hope my mom is not watching this. So I went to church, we drove to church. I was putting on the score, right? And I kept seeing the text messages. You were texting. I have another friend group that were texting about the game. We lost the game. And I'm like, oh man, there's no way the game is over yet. Keep refreshing my phone as I'm driving. It's like 2-1, 2-1, I keep seeing it refresh. It's like, okay, still 2-1. Then we get to church and I just stayed at the back. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay at the back. And then it was two. I saw a bunch of ping, ping, ping. It's like 2-2. I was like, oh, okay, this is great, right? And I was like, all right, I think we're gonna get a draw here. So then I, few minutes later, it's 3-2, and the phone starts buzzing again, and it's 3-2, and I'm like, you kidding me? Come on. So my reaction is that United won the game, right? I mean, I don't know if I'll say, I mean, Arsenal lost, United won, but I think it was a great game. Sucks that I missed like most of the second half, but it was a great game. I mean, I don't think we expected it to be. I saw three of the goals, three out of the five goals, and I think our prediction was like 2-1, 1-0. Yeah, so it was wild.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was also a good game. Not for the first 30 minutes, but I actually watched the game a second time just to look at it from a neutral standpoint. Because when you're watching the game the first time, there's all those emotions going through. There's anger, there's happiness, there's frustration, and so it's difficult sometimes to see what the possibilities are, or maybe what you think was easy. It's really not that easy, right? But after watching the game a second time, I thought there were some mistakes. There were just even body position, just the simple things that just happened throughout the course of the game that kind of swung it. And so I'll jump right into the first one. The goals definitely swung the game. But did you see Mboimo's goal?
Boma's
What
goal.
do
That
you
was yeah,
what
of
do you
course, the first goal. I
what do you
thought,
think
I
about
mean,
yeah, go
you
ahead.
saw my message on that, right? Like, what the heck, I don't know what Zubimendi is thinking there, I think it's just Zubimendi is not a bad player. It's strange to say this. So people who probably don't never play football, they watch football only, right? And as a fan, you're like, oh my goodness, what can he be doing there? What could you be thinking there? But I feel like at the same time, this is the style that Arsenal plays, right? The guy has a ball and he passes it to the goalkeeper when there's a little bit of pressure. Keeper either holds it and passes it back or sends it up top, right? But when you play that style, there's also drawbacks, right? Your player, like Zubimendi played midweek, right? Champions League versus Inter. That was a pretty intense game, right? And then fast forward to Sunday, I mean, he's playing again, which is that's what they get paid to do. But these guys are also human and they get tired, right? So I remember when it happens, I'm going, Zubi, what are you doing? And you could tell before he made that mistake, he did one before that almost, was a mistake, right? And then he you could tell he's trying to like get himself in the game. And it's an intense game because United is pressing really hard and he's trying to get himself in the game, but he's just slower. He's just thinking a bit slower than so I think that was like because Arsenal scores 1-0. I think if Zubimendi doesn't make that mistake, I would go as far as say Arsenal could wrap up that game, maybe even 2-0 or more. And maybe United gets
Yeah.
a goal. A completely different conversation. But I think once that goal went in, United went, uh-oh, these guys are tired. We're gonna go at them. And you can see the Dorgu goal, which I'm probably jumping ahead, but like the Dorgu goal was literally a result of that. Like Dorgu was, I don't even think I saw him the first, 20 something minutes of the game. Like it's like Dorgu didn't exist. And I remember going, wow, like where is Dorgu? And then he scores that goal, and you go, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Before I jump to Dogo's goal, pull it back really quickly. That goal by Mbuemo, the pass back by Saliba to
it was
Zubimendi,
the fastest.
was Saliba passed the ball back to Zubimendi, but I think he unbalanced Zubimendi because if you watch the game again, Zubimendi was almost going to his left and the ball came to his right. So he almost had to stretch out a little bit. Hey, listen, I'm not making excuse for him because he's a professional soccer player and he does this for a living every day. But I think the ball could have been played a little better from Saliba, maybe towards the left hand side, and that would have created a bit more space for
Well,
Zubimendi.
because the ball comes in, if he played on his left side, then he can take a touch in, right, and get closer to David Raya. But I think the ball gets played on his right foot. But if you think from Saliba's thought, if I play it in, what if it gets cut off? If I play it out, the worst is gonna go out of bounds, right? So he plays that ball. Yes, you don't have to, but these balls get played all the time, and I feel that is Sharp, if Zubimendi Sharp doesn't have a blunder, I think that's what it was, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you give Zubimendi that ball 100 times, he probably makes that pass to Raya 100 times. So I think it's you could slow down things and kind of say, well, maybe because of this, maybe, but I don't know necessarily if I'll blame Saliba. I think Saliba is just playing the style that Arteta plays. Hey, we play back, we get to goalie, they come in, we clear space, we get the ball forward, right, to our striker, or we played out wide, right, up. And I think that's all they were doing. I think that was an unfortunate error, but it really showed like the stake. Because you watched the first. When did Arsenal score? I think it was like 20th minute or something, right? Like
28, the 28th minute.
first goal, right? And Arsenal is dominating the game. Like I think Man United didn't even touch the ball, and I was going, wow, this game is gonna go. It's gonna be. But then there's momentum's coming, right? And then that goal happens, and then the team just goes, what? Like you could see the shift in the game, and even coming out of second half, like you could that shift from that goal, the shift carried on right until the second half.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, yeah, and then moving on to the second goal by Patrick Dogu. It was unbelievable. I mean,
And
I yelled, and I jumped off my seat because he caught me off guard completely. I mean, he struck that ball. He struck that ball like he's not been fed or he's been hungry chasing food for like the last year or so. That was with
been
so much venom. I mean,
Yeah, and
it,
and you could look at that and say, what could, like, I think again at that point the game swung the other way. United feel confident. I mean, Dorgu is a good player, but like if you tell me, yeah, Dorgu was gonna score that goal, it's like, yeah, I might win the lottery. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Dorgu, it's one of those things where I think everybody's caught off guard. He takes that shot, perfect shot. It could go sky. I think Bruno took a shot, was coming in and took a shot like that first half, and it went wide or whatever, and one went on the ground, and so I don't think you expect the Dorgu to cut in. But I think in the same time, Arsenal could have done themselves some favors by stepping in, because I think at some point they just backed up and like let United, have more possession after United scored the goal, and and they're in their back foot, right? I forget who stepped. Someone was like going to step up to Dorgu, and it happened so fast. But at the same time, it's like I'll have to go and watch who it
yeah,
was. But
I think the closest person to him was Trossard at the time. He was the person that
yeah,
made contact with him while he shot the
but
ball. But
Trossard was with him. I thought when
late.
before he made the cut to the right, there was someone stepping in, and it was just like before they could get there, he took the shot.
I
You
can't
know,
remember who.
yeah,
I
because
know
Trossard was
Zubimendi
on the wing with
like
him. He takes a
yeah.
touch, cuts in, shoots. Like before the, but it's almost like you know it happens.
It's
Like if I,
almost,
yeah,
it's almost it's actually very similar. And I thought about it while I watched it the second time. Even though the two goals were brilliant goals and were taking away nothing from Dogo and Cunha, the fact is Arsenal defenders did not close down the space for both those two goals. And if you look at Cunha's goal, transitioning into Cunha's goal, which I thought was also brilliant because, I mean, the ability to call that ball rounds Gabriel and the goalkeeper was brilliant, but he was allowed to take the space. He should have been closed down. So that definitely swung the game. And it's just, and once again, it's the kind of thing where coaches always say, hey, focus. The minute you score a goal, you focus for the next
you're
5
more.
to 10 minutes.
That's right. That's it. And
That didn't happen.
let me ask you a question though. Were you surprised that Cunha scores that goal? Were you surprised?
I honestly, I jumped off my seat as well. I'm not surprised, but he hasn't done it enough
But
for me
you
to
you remember Cunha
expect him to.
Wolves though.
Yeah,
You
I
remember
know.
Cunha
I know.
Wolves scoring some ridiculous goals. You give him space,
He was.
he scores ridiculous goals. So that's what I'm saying. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised. As a defender, defending against Cunha, he could be down I don't think the same Cunha playing for United is Wolves Cunha because I think the system is different. It's a different team. But if you ask me, am I surprised Cunha scores that goal? I would say no, I'm not surprised because he can do it. If you give him the opportunity to do it, he'll do it, right? So I don't think I was surprised we let in a goal, that late into the game after we just equalized. But am I surprised Cunha scores that goal? No, not one bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, it was a brilliant goal, and I'm not taking anything from Cunha has the ability to do that. And I think I've been saying it to both you and Jeff for a year
You and
from
your
his
Cunha,
root
man.
days. He
He
is a
needs to go back to
brilliant,
Brazil,
brilliant player. He's got that swagger. So I'm not surprised, but he hasn't done it enough in a United shirt. So that obviously caught me off guard, but still brilliant. So, but overall though, like when you think about the game and those goals, do you think they were good attacking play or just poor defending? Because we just kind of touched on some of the things Arsenal could have done better. But do you think the United build up was actually like how do you feel about the United build up? I don't
I
know
think
if
two
you
of the goals. Yeah, no, I felt okay. So it looked a bit different than the Manchester City game. I wouldn't necessarily say United dominated game. Like if you look at possession, passes, and all that stuff, tempo of play, it was shifting right back and forth. Like at 1 minute, Arsenal dominates possession. I mean, it looked like it wasn't, but it looked like the first like 20 something minutes is like 90% to 10, right? United sitting back, and then they're trying to counter, right? And they really didn't have anything. Like I mean, there was really nothing, happening. And then they get the goal, right? Which I don't think United built anything up for the first goal. It was like a gift. Like you and I playing in an EPL, someone gives you the ball. I'm pretty sure Saliba is fast enough to catch me. Maybe not you. I think I'll still miss it because Saliba will catch me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a gift that if you know how to put the ball in the back of the net, like, you're not going to miss, that kind of a chance. So I don't know if I'll give that credit, but I would give credit to United pressing, for that, right? I think that you guys did a really good job pressing and kind of something happens when you press. Like I always say, try to press, don't sit back and wait because when you sit back and wait, bad things can
yeah.
happen, right? So I think you guys did. So I'll give the pressing, and then the second goal, I would say United actually started building up. Like you can see, Bruno got more involved in the game. He came alive. He started getting more touches. He started dictating the play, and then that's kind of like where it opens up stuff for the Dorgu goal, right? So I think that it's and then the third one is like. I mean, that's the defense has to take ownership for that. Like, I don't think that's United so brilliant. It's like, it's a big game. Someone's going to want to change the game. I don't think even when we talked about who's a difference maker, I don't think any of us say Cunha would show up and be the difference maker. I forget who, it was like, I don't think Cunha it was like, yeah, if Cunha plays, he might do something, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, it's, so I think it's one of those things where it's a big game. You got to step up as a defense. So I think Arsenal defense, which has been one of the best defense in the league, giving up 3 goals at home to Manchester United, needs to take responsibility for it. And I think they are. They're not, these guys probably talk about it and they have. So I would say there was kind of a mix. Like one of the goals is United actually building up, and you could see them building up. And I was like, wow, that's actually like this United looks different than the United we've seen. I feel like under Bruno Amorim, Amorim was if it was Amorim and you got that gift from Bomo, then you just sit back in your 4-3-3, whatever the three, whatever 3-4. I don't even know what formation the dude was playing,
Yeah.
whatever. And then Arsenal probably gets momentum
A
back,
little more.
wins the game, right? But I feel like Michael Carrick is saying, "Hey guys, look, they gave you a free goal. It's 0-0. Let's go at them, right? Like let's play football and just enjoy ourselves." And you can
Yeah.
call it just. I don't know if I would say if it's a. I don't know if it's necessarily a Carrick style s. I think it's just new manager bounce, and you're playing your big competitors. So you're gonna go at it like we'll see. I think who do you play this weekend? I don't even know. Who do
We
you
we
guys play?
play we play Manchester United play Fulham this weekend, so I guess we'll see. But there's
We'll
one thing
see.
there's one thing
Yeah.
you touched on, which was like the tactics of the game. From a tactical standpoint, I thought United felt comfortable, and I know Arsenal wanted to always control the game. And even though I I thought United would get a little bit more control of the ball, which they eventually did throughout the course of the game, but Arsenal controlled the ball, but United always looked very comfortable. They looked comfortable, and you knew it was only a matter of time before they pounced on something. which was what happened in the first goal. And of course, the build up was really good. I saw a video, I think it was Arsene Wenger who talked about the game, and he said the difference between the two teams is one team is trying to do this by brute force, and the other team is actually building up their game, right? And it kind of tells the story of the two goals Arsenal
Yeah.
scored versus at least the two
Yeah.
goals
Yeah.
United scored. There's a build up, there's a connection in passing, there's a 1-2. And both of the last two goals for United were 1-2s around the midfielders for Arsenal, which was actually a surprise. And it almost felt like Arsenal were caught napping. They were like, wait, are these guys really playing 1-2 like this? Like, wait, like what are we supposed to do with this? That kind of thing. So it was even, and that goal, the third goal Bruno scored, you could see Declan Rice chasing Bruno Cunha. It was like, wait, did he just like escape? Like, what is happening? They almost were shell shocked that United was actually playing football and not just defending and kicking long balls away. So that was,
Which
that
was what
that that
happened in
was
the first game, right? Which was the first game
yeah.
at home. United were playing Bruno ball, which was atrocious. It's like,
I love that. I love that you keep calling him Bruno Ball. You know his name is Ruben Amorim, right?
sorry,
You call him Bruno Amorim.
Right. Bruno Amorim, Ruben Amorim, Portuguese guy, Bruno Fernandes. Sorry, Ruben Ball. And it just was not the same. I think watching the game, I would say this is like one of the first times in a very long time. I wouldn't say since like the Sir Alex games. I think we've had some pretty good games with recent managers. You've had, I think, when Marino was there was some good games. When Wenger was there was some good games too. So I think this is just in a while that you've seen like an Arsenal United game that's actually like
It
it
was
gives
good.
you what
Yeah.
you as a fan, like as a neutral fan watching the game, you go, wow, this is great. Like, you get 5 goals, like, that's what you expect from a game like that, right? So yeah, so yeah, it gave a lot for the neutral. For me, it didn't because I really wanted to win, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Which one player from the game impressed you the most on both sides? If there's any one
from your
player you
side,
could pick out from United or from Arsenal, which one
I
impressed
don't know.
you the
I think
most?
Arsenal was flat. I don't think anyone, even the goal we scored. I mean, it was Timber, and it was just, we were after the first 20 something minutes, we were pretty flat. So I don't know if I would say necessarily anyone from Arsenal. And again, when you lose, you could say, yeah, because we lost, but everyone could tell, like even at halftime, the coach yanked half of the players, and replaced them, right? So it's kind of like we were not like at our
Yeah.
best at all. But I
Yeah.
would say the one player from United that impressed me, it's probably Kobe Mainu, because you would like Kobe Mainu. I was watching the game, and it looked like he was pretty comfortable, and he knew the job that he needed to do. Like if you watch, even when Arsenal's dominated possession, United gets the ball, Kobe Mainu wasn't necessarily like panicky, and I felt like under Ruben Amorim, Amorim, not Amorim. Amorim is the English people call him. Ruben Amorim, the Kobe Mino was hesitant. I think he just didn't have confidence, right? It's like, so you see him get the ball and he's like quickly wants to like, or he tries too hard. But I felt like in that game, he was just getting the ball and he was playing the tempo that his own tempo. And he was like, yeah, I'm comfortable with my tempo. I'm going to make some tackles. I'm going to play the ball, like, play the ball wide. And I felt that was actually like the second game I've seen him play. And I think that's his second start in a while, right? Because he started the Manchester game and this game.
Yeah, it's back-to-back stats, but I don't know. Maybe he has started a few more. I can't remember. But
Yeah, I don't
that's a
think he
very
started under
really,
Ruben
yeah, that's
Amorim.
a very big call though. That's a very big the fact that you called out Maino and I didn't even think about him. It's like, but sometimes you
He was
ever
doing the
play.
stuff that no one is paying attention to. I feel like,
Yes.
and everyone will
Yeah.
see them Bomo and Cunha and Bruno. You know, Bruno's always going to be Bruno, right? He's the loudest, and I feel like in the middle there, him and Casemiro were actually pretty solid because Arsenal tries to build through, like, we go wide to Saka, or we build through the middle through Odegaard, and then go wide from there, right? And a lot of the
Yeah. Yeah.
times we didn't do that coming through that
Yeah.
middle to go wide. We had to go wide early, and it kind of gives an opportunity because it gives opportunity for the defender to close in when you just go from the back wide versus coming through the middle, and then like they get sucked in and you just open them wide, so you get more space to run down. So
Yeah.
I think he did a pretty good job defensively. He looked pretty comfortable, and not, you know, yeah, he didn't look very panicky. So I would say I was kind of surprised back to back games. for someone, who was low in confidence to play at the level that he played, right?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I was going to say Cunha, and I'll tell you why I say Cunha. But Kobe, first of all, it's one of those games where you don't want your name to be talked about too much because it meant you did your job. It's like as a midfielder, because it meant nothing got past you. You played the simple passes. You kept everything really simple and basic and made no mistakes. So it's either you're really flashy and everyone's talks about you, or no one talks about you because nothing happened. And sometimes that's good. As a defense, like when I was playing, if whenever I ever played defense, I wanted the game to be over without anyone talking about me because it meant I made no mistakes. Right? You made no mistakes. And that's the kind of game I think Kobe Mano had because until you mentioned his name, I honestly didn't even remember he was in that game. And sometimes that's a good thing. That's a
Yeah.
good thing, honestly. So I have to give him credit. I like Mano. I've always thought that he doesn't have the legs to get around the field as fast, but apparently he covered the most ground in that game. So I mean, how wrong could I be? So credit to Mano for sure. But Cunha, I picked Cunha because not just his goal, his ability to hold onto the ball and draw fouls and slow the game down or drag the team up the field in in the later stages of the game was very key because for a player like him it's hard to press him because not only is he strong, he's also skillful and like he's very like slippery. I want to say because you think you're gonna get the ball but he somehow gets it away from you, right? So it's like
Yeah.
he's got that like lazy fast speed kind of, so that's my peak. And on the flip side of this is there are people who are expected to do better. And I have to say, there are two players from Arsenal I was really looking up to show up and really get something going. And that was Saka and Odegaard. And Odegaard got dragged off after what, 54 minutes or
Yeah.
something like
After
that?
second half, I think he was part of
Yeah.
the group that got something like right at the
Yeah.
second half.
So that was pretty disappointing because it was one of those moments where everybody was waiting to see, okay, there was a comparison between Bruno and Odegaard. Let's see how they both fare. And I don't think Bruno had the best of games. He had some sloppy passes, but he also didn't do anything detrimental
He
to
got
the
an assist,
team.
right? Did he get the
And
assist to Dorgu's goal? Kinda. I mean,
yes,
Dorgu
yes,
did
he had
all
the
the
assist, but
played him
that is
well,
what
right?
Bruno loves. Yeah, Bruno
Yeah.
loves that 1-2 combination in the middle, and he's very good at it. So I was really disappointed with Odegaard and Saka. And Saka, he looked very predictable. Shaw knew how to play him.
Yeah, we talked about, didn't I say that before we did the pre,
Yes.
right? I said that, right? So Luke Shaw is solid defensively, and if anything was going to happen is on the other side. I feel that on the other side, what's his name? The guy you don't like so much, Diogo Dallo. I feel like Diogo Dallo got lucky that game. It's just I don't think Diogo Dallo necessarily played well on the side, but if you flip it, Diogo Dallo comes and plays Saka. I think Saka or Madueke comes in and Diogo gets a red card, right? But watching Saka definitely was. He looks. I think this season overall, he looks pretty predictable. He's not getting his shots. Saka last season will cut in and then take that shot. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's crossing the ball more, which is great. But some of these games, like he just seems like you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna get the ball. He's gonna try to cut in to take that shot, and so people just know it, right? It's there. So he kind of has to reinvent himself a little bit more because I think that people have figured out like that's one of his things. I mean, he's still so good that I guess most defenders he can still force it. But I guess like I just felt Luke Shaw was pretty, yeah. And I said
Yeah.
it, Luke Shaw was going to be kind of like a difference maker for you guys as well, and I thought he was, right. He really clamped down on Saka pretty well on
Yeah.
that right side.
So yeah, no, no, I think it was Luke Shaw had a good game. I think for the most part, the defenders did actually have a pretty good game for United, and I guess for us now, it's back to the drawing board. All right, so like taking a step back, what does the result really mean? Like for both United and Arsenal, is it a statement win for United, or was it just a great night? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, does it mean so? It means something for Arsenal, I think, because now you
Something.
could have been what's that?
As you say, it means something.
No, I mean, it means something as in like not in a necessarily in a good way, right? What I mean is like it means something like you lost 3-2 at home. You could have been right now, if they like the Nottingham Forest game, right? 9 points ahead. You know what I mean? Or if and then maybe you lose this game, you're 6 points. 2 games is still a lot to if you really hit your stride. But now you're 4 points, right? 4 points is one loss and then a draw, and then they keep winning. You know what I mean? Like, and then they pass you, right? Now it's like a game of like, will they drop points? So you're essentially putting it up the title race back out to the realm of unpredictability versus, if you build yourself at, I feel like a 9 points, 10 point cushion,
Yeah,
even when unpredictability happen, you go, okay, I dropped, let's say you drop 2 games, right? And now it's a 3 point, whatever. You also can expect that they might drop some point to some point, right? But 4 points, I think, is too tight. So for Arsenal, it's like you've put yourself in a position. Can you which I guess, like, if Arsenal is really to be champions this year, I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, I just walked in the park and like it was easy. Like, okay, like now prove it, right? Like Odegaard, you've been there for quite some time now. Saka, like you're a big boy. You're getting paid tons of money, right? Now this is the opportunity to prove what can you actually do. Can you actually like when the pressure is on now, you're 4 points against Man City, which I don't think Man City, I still don't think, but Villa, I mean, they're there still, right? Like they're still there. So we don't know. So I think only at the end we will really see because every single season, the last 3 years, there's games, distinct Arsenal games I can go back to be like, yep, this game and this game and this game lost us the title. This game and this, and I think this, if Arsenal doesn't end it, there'll be this game, Nottingham Forest game, the Chelsea game when Chelsea went down a man, would be the 3 games you can look at and say, yeah, that's what lost you the title right there. Not the Aston Villa last minute goal when they're at home. So there's a few games where I feel like Arsenal, hey, this is games you must win, and you don't win them, and it might cost you, right? So
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah,
For United side, I would say it gives them confidence. It gives them confidence to say, hey, we could do something. Somebody put something about now United is in the title challenge. I was like, come on, stop. Like, I think that's a bit of nonsense. That's just me because we don't know. Like every team gets a new manager, they win 2 or 3 games, and then they plateau. We don't know yet. I think if United wins five, 6, 7 in a row, then we can say, "Oh wow, okay, like United is in the title shot." 2 games, I'm like, as a United fan, I'd be like, "Stop! Like, don't jinx us." It's too early for that, right? We just won top four. We get top four is great, but I think you know it's a good result, and it builds more confidence on the team. However, what I would say is, hope United keeps doing their thing because what you don't want to happen is a false dawn on the Michael Carrick and people get a certain belief. While I think there's better managers available out there next season that you can go for, and I think it's good for United to kind of just let's keep building up and keep doing the process, and we're gonna reevaluate, Michael Carrick against, let's say, what's the guy? Unai Emery's name came up
yeah.
as a potential candidate.
I
I
I saw
think
it.
the guy from Crystal Palace can be a great manager for United. I think. I don't know how you feel. So I think rather than like, hey, we won versus Arsenal, now we're back. We're gonna beat everybody. I think you play 2 teams that are competing against you. You haven't
Yeah,
played yet Michael Carrick against like the low block team that's just gonna sit there with 10 guys and say beat us. And like so we'll see how that plays out. And I don't think Fulham is necessarily also because Fulham play they actually play, right. Marco Silva doesn't sit back and park a bus. He has Harry Wilson. So I don't even know if the next game will really give us a true understanding of how United will cope
yeah,
for the rest of the season until you start playing. The West Ham's and Nottingham Forest. You go to Brighton. I think you still have to go to Brighton. So there's still a lot to see. Was
yeah.
Brighton coming to you? I don't know.
No, no, we played Brighton. That was our last loss. We played Brighton already. Was
Wait,
that
no,
FA?
away or home?
Maybe that was the FA Cup.
Yeah, I
I
think you
can't
still have to
remember
go.
now.
I think you have to go there. I might be wrong, but you know what I mean. Like, so I think for United gives United belief, right? We got a new manager, and in his second game, is it second game or third? Second game, right? This is Michael Carrick's second game.
This was the second game. This was the second game.
The second
Yeah,
game, we beat 2 title challengers. Hey, boys, come on, we can
yeah.
do this, right? Let's go for it. Like top four. What? But you guys are top five right now or fourth
We're
now?
fourth.
Top
We're
four.
fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So top four is there. Let's get top four. Champions League football can come back to United, right? Sick and tired of watching you guys Thursday. Come on, man. Can you imagine this? If you told me like 20 years ago, Manchester United would be playing Thursdays and Arsenal at some point would be playing Thursday, I would laugh at you, be like, what an idiot. Like, there's no way. That would never happen, And here you are playing Thursday night. That's what beast, man. I don't even know some of these places you guys are going. So
Okay,
I think
that's
it's
fair. That's
yeah.
fair. I think, I think for me, I think it's a good win, but it doesn't, it tells me that the United team can have structure that they can follow and stick to if they stick together. Because from the last two games, it looked like they were given a structure, they were given instructions, and they stuck to it. They believed in it and stuck to it. So that's a good thing. Because my concern was always, no matter what manager comes in, the team is just not disciplined enough to follow a structured plan. But they proved me wrong over the last two games. No, I think the next two games are challenging because they are the so-called lesser team or lesser opposition. And even though Fulham is doing good, have the ability to hurt them. I just don't see United playing the same way that they've played against City. Maybe they'll be a lot more open, and that's where United get hurt because they don't, even when they play open, they can't keep people out of their goal. And even when they play compact, they still concede goals, but it's much, much more difficult for them to concede goals when they're compact. So let's see how the next two games will fare. But anyways, quick fire as we come to the end of this. Quick fire. Was it a fair result for Arsenal or was it harsh? What do you think?
I think it was a fair result. I don't think Arsenal played well for the most stretches of the game. So I think definitely, I don't think Mikel Arteta going around saying it's and maybe he did because it was some handball or something. I don't even want to talk about handball because we don't know what is handball. We talk about this like the past 5 years. We've been going, what is a handball? What is not a handball? No one knows. That I think overall it's a result for United. United showed up and took chances and they got their chances, right? So it's the same thing when we go somewhere, we win. Like, just like when we went to Old Trafford and won at the beginning of the season, was it a fair result? Yes, it was, right? So I think it's similar to this one. Your opposition, like one of your top competitors came to your home and competed and they beat you. And I think that's a fair, I think it was a fair result. Do I like the result? Absolutely, I don't like the result. I usually go and watch all the highlights, and I haven't done it because I'm just down.
We're going to revisit the definition of quick fire for you real quick.
I know. I don't know quick fire, Kenneth. Come on, you know me. I just
Quick
so
fire, quick fire.
okay. I'll remember that for the next time. I'll do 2-second fire. Go for it.
Moment of the match for you. What was the moment that changed the match for you? Pick one moment. What would it
A
be
goal
for you?
from Momo's goal to be mainly passing the ball backwards.
There you go. You got it.
What about you? Like, what
All
is
right.
your moment? What's your
That volley, that second goal from Patrick Dogu, that's my one moment of the match because I think that goal gave them confidence, my moment. So anyways, so again, we are at the end of the episode. This was great. I think, there's more to come. I still believe Arsenal will regroup and get, and get their title challenge back on track. So last words for you. What do you think? Arsenal, will they regroup?
I think so. I mean, we have a game tomorrow versus that Malti something. It's a good opportunity for the players to get back into it. So I think they will definitely regroup.
All right, fellas, we love this game. Let's know what your thoughts are. Did United take this or did Arsenal hand it to them? Every thought counts. Let us know. Drop your comments. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Hold on, I got one thing to show you, Enoch. I got one thing to show you.
Okay. Go Philly. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Boo United. Arsenal. It's Arsenal. Hey, by the way, did you know this before we go off of the show? Did you know most of your friends are Arsenal fans? Did you know this? Your closest friends, by the way, not just friends, some random people, because I know you have a lot of friends. But just so you know, your closest friends are all Arsenal fans.
I know. That's why I've enjoyed years of happiness.
So you know.
I've enjoyed years of happiness, and
one day we do have joy. Don't worry.
All right, thanks, guys. Let us know your comments, and if you enjoyed the show, subscribe and stay tuned for more.
All right.